Being sober is the best thing that I've ever done for myself, but there are a couple things that I wish I knew before I quit alcohol. My name is Ladette, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys 4 of the main things that I've learned in the last year and a half of being sober. I really feel like had I known some of the things that I'm going to share in today's video prior to starting my sober journey, that I would have had a little bit of a smoother transition and would have given myself a lot more grace for just everything that just comes with living a sober lifestyle. So whether you're sober curious or you've already started your journey, today's video will definitely have something for you. So let's get into it. The first thing I wish I knew at the start of my sober journey is that quitting alcohol is as big of a deal as I make it. And so what that means is just in the beginning, I thought it was going to be this huge thing like, oh my God, is everything going to change? Are all my friendship dynamics going to be different? Are people going to question me? Are people going to think I'm boring? If you clicked on this video, then I'm sure you've had so many similar thoughts of just like, what does it mean to be sober? How does that change my life? And sometimes that can feel really overwhelming because if alcohol has been part of your life for such a long time, or if it just is so important to you, or it's been such a core in the lifestyle that you have, then it's not necessarily easy to just quit. And so, oh my gosh, my journey was such a roller coaster, especially in the beginning, even years ago, even before I made being sober stick, because I would just come up with all of these things, all of these excuses, all of these fears, and it really got in the way of what my intention was with living a sober lifestyle. I made like the idea of being sober a really big deal, and it wasn't. And I'll go into that in other videos, just like how most of my friendships didn't really change, how no one cares, how it just isn't like this big thing anymore. And so if that's you, I just want to say it's similar to what you put your energy into. If you're putting all your energy into something, of course, it's going to feel like it has more of a meaning or more of an impact. The things that we choose to pour our energy into have more of a meaning to us. And so if you want sobriety to not feel like this big, overwhelming thing that's going on in your life, then don't think about it that way. And so for me, this past year and a half has really been me just focusing on how it feels good, like focusing on how nice it feels to just feel like myself, to not have hangovers, to be present, to build my confidence and not need alcohol to give me this fake sense of, feeling like I'm belonging. As soon as I stopped putting an emphasis on alcohol and me quitting drinking being just such a big deal, it really stopped being a big deal, and I was able to focus my energy on everything else. The second thing that I wish I knew before quitting alcohol was that I was gonna have to let go of my old identity to create space for my new identity. And kind of going back into the first thing that I wish I knew, quitting alcohol, changing your identity doesn't have to be a big deal. It almost feels just kind of like a natural progression. I really felt like once I accepted that alcohol just had no space in my life, I felt like I gave myself permission to forgive myself for the relationship I had with it, for all of the negative experiences that I had. And then it was just a nice progression into creating that new identity for myself, And it feels really good because before I was this partier, I was this drinker. I would drink on the weekends. I really just changed. I felt like quitting alcohol gave me permission to really focus more on my podcast, even more on my YouTube, despite I took a break from YouTube. This video is the first video that I posted in several months, y'all, but it still was nice because it just has allowed me to really tap into what do I care about and who am I when I'm not drinking. Because before, being a drinker gave me permission to not be productive. It gave me permission to be complacent. Whereas being sober has forced me to be a person who is motivated, who is determined, who has goals. It's almost like I'm forced into caring and pouring more into things that are actually meaningful for me. Now I don't have an excuse. And I think anyone watching can relate that it's easy to self-sabotage. It's easy to say that you want something to happen in your life, but then you get in the way of it because either you don't believe in yourself or you just don't think you're good enough, whatever the case is. But being sober kind of forces you to really look at those insecurities and to work through them, because now you don't really have something to fall back on that keeps you complacent. And so for me, I just wish that I knew that going into my sober journey. It was really going to force me to create this new identity for myself, and that it just was gonna be amazing, that it was gonna be this awesome thing. Because there were times where, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like, am I gonna be able to still be social? Am I gonna be boring? Are people gonna stop inviting me to things? Like, I was scared about what it meant for who I am and, for the identity people associated me with. And it just has been such a nice experience to feel like overall I have molded into an even better, stronger, just, incredible version of myself that I'm really proud of. And part of what I wish I knew in that is that it's okay to change. It's okay to outgrow your old lifestyle. This is something that wow, like if I had a really difficult struggle, it was probably this. Because even before leading up to the last day that I had my last drink of alcohol, I really struggled with letting go of the old me. Even though I knew old me wasn't serving me, old me, like, she was holding me back, Old me was not happy, she was miserable, she wasn't confident, but for some reason, I still held on, and I almost felt like, even though alcohol is not a person, I felt like I was losing a best friend. Like, because as toxic as it was in my life, it also helped me, or, you know, I'm just gonna put quotes around that. It helped me navigate breakups. It helped me suppress feelings that I didn't want to deal with at the time. It almost gave this false persona that it was there for me, even though I know it truly wasn't. That's why I say, like, that fake persona of, like, being a best friend, because it was the thing that I went to and fell back on when I needed to numb myself, or when I needed to forget about something, or when I was stressed. And so it felt like I was letting go of something that convinced me was helping me, but all it ever really did was hold me back and harm me. So that there was that kind of difficult thing that I had to navigate. But I really feel like, knowing prior to me starting my sober journey, that I was gonna have to let go of my identity, but that it was gonna give me space to create this new, beautiful identity that I was gonna be proud of and confident in, I really felt like would have helped me get through some of those hurdles of, like, you know what? It's gonna be okay. It's okay to change. It's okay to outgrow certain things I used to do, and it's okay to just let it go. It's okay to just let it go. The third thing that I wish I knew before quitting alcohol, and this is not to scare anyone, but it's just the honest truth, is that things take time to get better, and that is also okay. I know that in the beginning, it's easy to feel kind of excited, like, okay, I know that quitting alcohol obviously is going to improve my life, whether it's for health reasons or just confidence. You want to feel like you could just be yourself when you go places, whether it's because you feel like you're going to be more productive. Like, anyone can benefit from not drinking, or not drinking as much, and just drinking in moderation, right? The thing is, though, it's like you associate being sober with, like, having this awesome, incredible life. And yes, it is amazing. It's incredible. I wouldn't take anything back. I wouldn't redo anything at all, you guys. But it's also really important to have that recognition that there's a lot of work that comes with being sober. And specifically with not drinking alcohol, because even if you have a great relationship with alcohol, even if you're able to drink in moderation, alcohol is really, it's just out there. It's just everywhere in our society, and it's glamorized. And so when you sit there and say, hey, it's not serving me and I don't want this to be part of my life anymore, there are some difficult things that are going to come up with that, whether it's you having to do some shadow work, or you having to face something within that you didn't even know you were holding on to, but because you're no longer drinking or suppressing your feelings, these things come up, and, like, you can't control it and you can't stop it. When you're sober, things come up, and it's not that easy like it used to be when you were drinking to just, like, not deal with it. At least that's what it's been in my experience. Anytime I've had something come up, I literally have to sit with it. Otherwise, those feelings are lingering. It's in the back of my mind, and it doesn't go away until I sit there and address it, whatever that is. But on the flip side of that, it is such a confidence booster to be able to sit with yourself and acknowledge whatever difficult feelings are coming up for you, and to be able to address it and just work through it. That is such a confidence booster, because for me, I have felt like in a moment where I could have suppressed difficult feelings with alcohol, I dealt with it. And in the last year and a half, that is probably, like, one of the main things that has made me feel so grounded in myself, because every time that I sit with these difficult feelings, I'm proving to myself, like, damn, I'm capable of asking myself those difficult questions I'm capable and strong enough to just face some of these things that I didn't even know were in me. Certain insecurities about why I drank, thinking that people liked me because I was more fun when I wasn't really like that fun. I was kind of obnoxious when I was a drinker. And so there's just so many things that quitting alcohol makes you realize. But I don't want anyone listening to this to feel discouraged or scared, because when you're ready to start your sober journey, when you're ready to tackle these difficult feelings, when you're ready to address whatever you need to address, on the flip side of navigating that is an opportunity to get to know yourself better. It's an opportunity to understand yourself and why certain things either made you feel a certain way or why you drank or whatever it is. It's just an opportunity to learn and understand yourself and to grow. And for me, that's worth any hard emotion that I've had to feel as a result of being sober literally the past year and a half. So for me, it's 100% hands down been worth it. I just wish that I knew before quitting alcohol that it meant that there was going to be some difficult things that I had to navigate, because it kind of threw me back. Like there were some instances where I was like, bro, literally, I thought that it was going to be freaking awesome. I thought that it was going to be all sunshine and I was going to be feeling good, feeling my best all the time. And for the most part, it just wasn't like that all the time. Or I should say a good amount of the time in the beginning. In the beginning is when it is the most difficult. But then as you're getting through it and as time passes by, it's so much easier, you guys. So I just wish that I knew to expect that in the beginning there are going to be hurdles, but you will get through those hurdles. Just have people that you know are there for you, that you can trust, that you can lean on, and you're going to be just fine. The fourth thing that I wish I knew before quitting alcohol is just how important it is to have a strong why, please. And this goes for anything that you do in life. When you really want something, when something really matters to you, your foundation is everything. Your foundation is the thing that is going to make or break you. And so I wish I had a solid, strong why. And it took me a while. So in my sober journey, I know I mentioned I haven't drank in the last year and a half. However, I actually became sober curious like 7 years ago. In 2018 is when I started asking myself, would my life be better if I stopped drinking? Would I be happier if alcohol wasn't in the picture? And so in the last 7 years, I have had so many ups and downs. I had moments where I quit drinking for months and then I would start drinking again. Like I went half a year and then I started drinking again. And so it took me 7 years for me to be able to make it stick, right? And I was able to make it stick a year and a half ago. So it was last summer in 2024. And so this fourth lesson really is stemming from what I've learned over the last 7 years of being on my sober journey. I had moments where I wanted to quit drinking alcohol because I thought that it would improve my health. I've had moments where I wanted to quit alcohol because I felt like, I want to live a long life. Like there were so many moments where I had all these different reasons, and it's okay to have more than one reason. They just have to be strong enough and meaningful enough to you. And every time I felt like my reasons were meaningful, because wanting to be healthy, that's a good reason, right? Wanting to live a long life, that's a good reason. But is it meaningful enough to you? Because I'm not going to lie, those were not meaningful enough to me. The thing that really, really stuck was when I said, because I love myself enough. I love myself enough to be sober, because alcohol doesn't serve me. It never made my life better. Like, I'm better than this. Yeah, I want to live a long, healthy life. Yeah, I want to have good health. I want to be able to be present. I want to be able to save money. I want to be able to be more productive. Like, all of these reasons are enough of an incentive to stay sober. But the thing that has really made it stick is just because I love myself. When I finally just looked at myself in the mirror and was like, you deserve better. Sobriety for me is because I deserve better. Alcohol to me felt like that toxic friend. It was like that person in your life that just brings you down, drains your energy. All it does is take from you. It never gives. It just gets in the way of your happiness, your peace, and you just living, right? Like that life that you picture yourself living. And when I got to that point of feeling that way, I was like, you know what? Alcohol to me is like that toxic friend that I just don't need in my life. I love myself enough to not even entertain that friendship. That's how I started to feel. I'm better than this. I'm too good for this. And I love myself enough to not entertain, consume, or be around anything that does not serve me, like point blank, period. And so, everyone's reason is going to be different. For some, the health aspect might be the thing that you need. That might be the only thing that keeps you motivated, which is awesome. For other people, it might be because, you just want to be a better partner or a better parent, whatever the case is. But what I have experienced and what I really wish I knew even 7 years ago is that your why is the strongest foundation you'll ever have. And a big part of that is doing things out of self-love. It's doing things out of that respect for yourself. If you don't have that, then any of the other reasons really do kind of make it hard to stick long term. So just make sure that it's because you love yourself and you love your life, honestly. And that wraps up the 4 main things I wish I knew when quitting alcohol and starting my sober journey. I know how scary quitting alcohol can be. It can be so overwhelming. There's so many emotions that come with it. And whether you're sober curious or you're already in your journey, I just want you to remember that you have nothing to be ashamed of and you're not in it alone. Quitting alcohol and being sober doesn't have to be this crazy thing. It doesn't have to be this thing of like you're missing out and that like no one's going to understand you, because it's not true. It's kind of overrated, and it's okay to actually live a life where you don't entertain drinking. Let me know down in the comments what you guys resonated with today. Don't forget to like this video and share it with a friend. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!